Hey everybody. I just finished my very first book in the new Fear Street line. This is called Camp Out. Um, Before going in, I actually didn't know that I was going to buddy read this. A friend of mine said that, hey, I ordered a book. It has something to do with camping, and it was in your TBR. And I had this one and the Are You Afraid of the Dark book. So I actually thought it was going to be the Are You Afraid of the Dark book, which would have been fine either way. I enjoy buddy reads, regardless. Um, but yeah, this book here, I've actually heard from Monster Blood, and I think a few others that told me that this book is actually really good. And it was. This is one of the better Fear Street books that I've ever read. It's definitely in my top like 10, I would say. But yeah, let's talk about the cover. This is a very generic 90s looking cover, or early 2000s, really. This guy looks like an alien, the little shadow. He's not. Spoiler alert if you thought this guy was an alien. I guess he's not confirmed not to be an alien, so who knows? Um, the story itself starts off with these three girls. They're at a hunting store, buying stuff to go hiking or whatever. They're going on this hiking trip with just the girls. You got Maria, Ellen, and Beth. And Maria is somebody that just got broken up with by her boyfriend, and she's a little nervous about going out and doing this. Like, you got to hike and swim and all this stuff. And yeah, she's not the biggest fan of the outdoors and is very nervous. As they're at the store, they run into this guy who kind of makes like sort of threatening things towards him, or it's just kind of in um, Maria's head. This guy's name is Brett, and he's a guy like from their school that everybody says is kind of crazy. But yeah, they get ready to leave. They buy their stuff, and as they're on their way, they almost get ran off the road by Brett. And then a bunch of other stuff happens. They get shot at by these hunters randomly, and I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. They realize they don't have a lot of food, so they decide to stop by this little store to pick up some stuff. And as they stop by, they see these three guys, and these three guys are Will, Andrew, and Daniel. Andrew and Daniel are brothers, and Will is just a friend, and they want to go camping with them. Um, and earlier, Brett is the one that kind of wanted to go camping with them. Like, he says that I'm going to go camping too, and they're really worried that he's going to pop up at their campsite because they don't like this guy. But these three want to go camping with them and drink and all this cool stuff. And Maria is totally against it. The other two kind of think it'd be fun. And yeah, the three guys end up going camping with them. They camp off the side of a cliff, and everything's kind of going good. They like the guys or whatever. We learned that Will got invited to go camping by Andrew, who is somewhat of a friend at school, but not really. Like, he barely knows him. Daniel is Andrew's brother, and he just met him. At this camp, they start before Maria ends up falling, and a bunch of other bad stuff happens. She falls out of a raft and ends up falling and breaking her wrist down a hill or whatever. And Daniel kind of changes. He starts, telling her to tighten up, getting better, no rest, we got to make it through this other side and all this crazy stuff. And he's very mysterious about everything. And Will kind of stands up for her, and they kind of bicker back and forth. And yeah, this leads to like the main part of the story. Like, the first beginning of the story was a little bit of a filler, but it still tied into everything. But yeah, and I enjoyed a lot of the camping settings and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, one night they're in there sleeping, and Maria thinks that she hears a noise and like kind of like arguing and stuff. And the next day she gets up and Will is missing. Turns out that Will and Daniel kind of got into an argument and all this stuff, and he went missing. He was drinking, and all that. That's where I'm going to leave the story, because after this is spoilers. I'm not going to say much more about it. Um, but basically, this turns into like a survival story, and I'm gonna go ahead and say this right now: Maria is the best Fear Street character in the series as a protagonist. Um, she fights so hard against certain villains. She beats the crap out of so many, or mainly one um, antagonist, and yeah, she hits people with an axe. She kicks them in the face, pulls his hair. she does not give up, and it is really, really good. One of the best protagonists in the Fear Street series, and I think that this book is mainly really good because of her. If it would have been just a random person, random cardboard cutout Fear Street character, then this book wouldn't have been nearly as good. But yeah, this was a very realistic book, very, very good. The only complaints that I had was there's no really motives for these villains that we learn about or whatever, and there's really no satisfying way. There's a character in here that you just want to see something bad happen to him, and it doesn't ever happen. Like, it kind of does, but like not as much as you want. Another guy gets beat up, and that's fun. But yeah, there's a scene in here where they try to tie Maria up, and he's like, "Give me your hands," and she says like something like, "I'll give you my hands," and she like punches him, and it's so cool. It's very fun. This would have been a great movie. Matter of fact, in the series, there's this book called Scream Jennifer Scream, which I learned from Goosebumps Completionist that was supposed to be the premise for the Fear Street movie that was supposed to happen a long time ago. I didn't even know there was supposed to be a Fear Street movie, but apparently there was. But yeah, Camp Out is one of the stronger Fear Street books that I've ever read. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. The only complaints, like I said, were the lack of lack of explanation for what's going on, and lack of why certain things happened. It just kind of happened just because. But yeah, 4 out of 5 stars from me, guys. Please let me know in the comments below, what did you think about Camp Out if you've read it. I don't think these books are super rare, super hard to find. Some of them might be. I think I looked at Scream Jennifer Scream, and it was actually pretty expensive on Google search, like shopping or whatever. But yeah, Camp Out gets a 4 out of 5 stars for me. I can't wait to read more of these books. Yeah, please let me know in the comments below, what did you think about Camp Out. But yeah, that's it for me, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.